I'd like to begin today by sharing a quote Luis shared with me. It was written by Melody Beattie and offers a beautiful message about gratitude. Gratitude turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion into clarity. It makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. Such a beautiful message and so true. Without gratitude, we are constantly noticing what we don't have, what others are doing wrong, and how we've been wronged in our lives. Think about how often we are wanting more or experiencing a sense of lack. Perhaps we regret past decisions or experiences. And the problem with living in the past is that we are never then in the present moment because the present moment is never enough. Gratitude begins when we start to recognize the power of the universe that sustains us. In the late 1800s, Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore said, "It has been found by experience that a person increases his blessings by being grateful for what he has." If we don't appreciate what we have, then why would the universe ever bring us more? Counting our blessings allows us to be receptive to what the universe actually has to offer. And being open to actually receiving is what leads to the unfolding of our spiritual usefulness, which is how each of us come to learn what we are here to do and how to bring our gifts to the world. Some of you may have heard the recent story about 67-year-old Robert Flanks, who was released from a Louisiana penitentiary after 39 years of incarceration for a murder he didn't commit. Evidence at the time of his trial pointed to the fact that he probably wasn't the right suspect, but he was honest and admitted to a robbery that evening. And because he did, they wanted to connect him to the murder in a totally different location. Most importantly, the prosecutor that handled his case actually has 3 wrongful convictions to date. While Robert, of course, was elated to be freed, I couldn't help but wonder if he would spend the rest of his life in gratitude for the gift of freedom or focus on how he was wronged. And the fact that it cost him 39 years of his life. I don't know what I would do, but I would ask you to think about that. What would you do? In every situation we face, we can choose whether to shift our consciousness to improve outcomes or stay stuck in the limitations of our mind or circumstances. It's a choice, and we get to make that choice. One of my favorite stories helps us understand this concept. It's a story of a blind boy sitting on the steps of a building with a hat by his feet and a sign that says, "I am blind, please help." A man walking by sees there are only a few coins in the hat and adds a few himself. But at the same time, he takes that sign and he turns it around. And he writes a few words on it, puts the sign back, so everyone walking by would see the new words. Soon the hat begins to fill up with more people giving money. To the blind boy, that afternoon the man who had changed the sign came to see how things were going, and the boy recognized his footsteps. And he said, "Were you the one who changed my sign this morning? What did you write?" The man said, "I only wrote the truth. I said what you said, but in a different way. I wrote, 'Today is a beautiful day, but I cannot see it.'" While both signs told people that the boy was blind, the first sign focused on his blindness, practically guilting people into making a donation. But the second sign told people that they were lucky because they were not blind, which made them reflect upon the good in their life. As a result, they were more generous. It's abundance versus lack. Author and former monk Jay Shetty explains that gratitude helps us overcome the bitterness and pain that each of us carries around on a daily basis. He suggests that we try feeling jealous and grateful at the same time. It's actually impossible. And neuroscientist Alex Korb concurs that there's no way you can focus on a positive and negative feeling at the same time. When we feel grateful, our brains release dopamine, the reward chemical, which makes us want to feel that way again. And that's when gratitude begins to be a habit. He says once you start seeing things to be grateful for, your brain starts looking for more things to be grateful for. Gratitude has played a role in helping our veterans as well. Research shows that Vietnam War veterans with high levels of gratitude actually experience lower rates of post-traumatic syndrome. Gratitude is the answer if we've been through a breakup, lost a loved one, or have experienced an emotional trauma. People who consistently express gratitude have more meaningful relationships and are more optimistic towards life. And when we are optimistic, we can lead happier and longer lives. It's also true that people who keep a gratitude journal to count their blessings versus counting their burdens experience better health. And there are many health benefits. I'm going to share just a few. 16% fewer physical symptoms are experienced by people who express gratitude. 10% less physical pain. 19% more time exercising. 8% more sleep, and a 25% increase in the quality of our sleep. And gratitude also blocks toxic emotions, which contribute to inflammation in our bodies. Inflammation is a precursor to chronic illnesses, including heart disease. Dr. Murali Dorswamy, head of the Division of Biological Psychology at Duke University Medical Center, told ABC News this: "If thankfulness were a drug, it would be the world's best-selling product with a health maintenance indication for every major organ system." It's pretty amazing. Zen Master Rashi Joan Halifax talks about how gratitude is how we transform what she calls the mind of poverty. She explains that a poverty mindset has nothing to do with material goods or material poverty. When we are caught in the mind of poverty, we focus on what we are lacking, we feel we don't deserve love, we ignore all we've been given throughout our life. The conscious practice of gratitude is the way out of the poverty mentality that erodes our gratitude and our integrity. This past week, we received a beautiful 2023 calendar from Unity Worldwide Ministries entitled Grace and Gratitude. And it says this: grace is what happens when we let go and let God. Gratitude becomes easy when we step back to notice the flow of grace in our lives. Nothing has to be earned. We do not have to justify being alive on this planet. Grace is always expressing, always available, once we notice and accept it. Gratitude then follows naturally. Gratitude is more than just saying thanks for our good. It is a dynamic spiritual tool that can help us create the lives we want. There's a great story in Jay Shetty's book that truly exemplifies how practicing gratitude can change our lives. Brian Acton worked at Yahoo for 11 years when he decided to apply for a job at Twitter. While he was quite good at what he did, he was rejected. And when he received the news, he tweeted this: "Got denied by Twitter HQ, but that's okay. It would have been a long commute." Next, he applied for a job at Facebook and shortly afterwards tweeted this: "Facebook turned me down. It was a great opportunity to connect with some fantastic people. Looking forward to life's next adventure." Brian continued to post his failures on social media, but in each case, he always expressed gratitude for the opportunities he had along the journey. After these setbacks, he started working on an app in his personal time. 5 years later, Facebook purchased that application for $19 billion. I'm sure many of you have heard of the app. It's called WhatsApp, and it's great for traveling out of the country or keeping in touch with people that live in other countries. You see, Brian demonstrated grace in letting go and trusting the process. Had he been given either of those jobs, he may never have created that application. Just like 67-year-old Robert Flinks, we can choose to focus on the past or keep our eyes pointed in the direction of our feet and embrace life with a grateful heart. Let's review our takeaways for today. The gifts of gratitude offer so many benefits if we are willing to, number one, acknowledge the blessings of life itself. Be grateful for every day on this earth. Number two, recognize the abundance that surrounds you. Simple things like food, water, love, and friendship. Number three, express gratitude to others. Thank everyone who helps you in one day. And number four, find ways to give of yourself. Time, talents, energy, kindness, and caring. Our affirmation is, I am abundantly blessed. Our quote today is from Jay Shetty. When you're present in gratitude, you simply can't be anywhere else.